Hello everybody, this is Steve from Old Boy Moto. We're back again everyone. As you can see, I've put the Lowrider up on the hoist here. What I've done is I've used two arms of the hoist and just placed them under the front frame there, away from anything. Also I've used two straps. Prefer to do it this way. This is much more stable. I'm very lucky to have the hoist, obviously. So this is aside from using the floor jack. This has given me a lot of confidence that the bike's not going to move. So what we'll be doing today, guys, as I mentioned before, is we're going to be putting on the rubber boots or the gaiters on the fork sliders. So that's a matter of taking the guard off, the wheel off, the brake calipers, undoing the triple tree clamps and sliding the forks down. I'll give them a nice clean. I'll put a little bit of lithium grease inside there just to protect that slider. So no rust gathers or anything like that. And put the gaiters on. Also, I'll be putting the K&N filter in the airbox, which is a fairly easy thing to do. It's just like putting a normal stock filter on. And also the lights. So after doing a little bit of research since the last video, I've decided that I might give an LED insert a go. They seem to be all the go. You'll see them online everywhere. You can spend anything from $30 to $600. Obviously the ones that are right up there are really good. I did a bit of research, as I just mentioned, and I'm going for a brand that a lot of people have said is really good and right up there with the expensive ones. It was about $80, and I'll mention the brand and everything when we get to it. But it got some rave reviews on Amazon, over 1,000 something reviews with 5 stars. So that tells you a lot. So mine's a 5 and 3/4 bucket. You can get 2 different sizes, or 3 or 4 different sizes actually. So 5 3/4 bucket, and it's a straight retrofit, so it'll fit inside the bucket. You just plug it and play. So we'll give that a go. And also, after a little bit of research on the Stedi driving lights, what I'm going to be fitting, instead of the individual spotlights, I'm going to be fitting a combination light bar, which has 2 floodlights on the end, and it has 6 spotlights in the middle. So you're getting a little bit of flood down the sides, which is what I want, and a spotlight as a supplement to the high beams. I'm pretty sure even with this LED insert, it won't have the range that the light bar will have. So obviously we're not going to be entering the bike into any bike shows for the custom look. That's not the purpose of the exercise. As I mentioned before, we live in the country and we have to deal with a lot of wildlife on the sides of the road, and we need that good lighting of the road. So that's what that idea is about. So those 3 things will be going on the bike today, and we'll have a bit of a chat as we go. So stick around, guys, and we'll talk to you during the clip. Okay, I'm just going to get this mudguard off. Yeah, so just getting the front wheel off now. So the axle's out. So before the wheel can come off, we've got to get the brake calipers off. So just a tip when you're taking your brake calipers off is to have somewhere to hang them so they don't stretch the lines or damage your lines. So this should just pop off. This is the side with the ABS, so that's another thing to take care of. I guess if you guys are watching this, you probably know what you're doing anyway. So what I try and do is just try and keep it all together, and actually it'll sit on the peg. There we go. So that's on the peg. It just takes the stress off the lines. So I'm just going to undo this last triple tree on this side. It just slid out like no one's business. So be very careful when you're doing this, guys, because if you undo these, you're up in the air, they just slide out, you could damage the end of it, if not worse case scenario, you could break the clamp or anything. So what I'll do before I slide the gaiters on here, I'll give this a really nice clean, and I'll put a little bit of a light smear of lithium grease just on the part where the boot's covering, because you don't want moisture to accumulate in there, otherwise you'll start to get little pitting, rust pitting. That's very common on forks. Yeah, so guys, I don't know whether you can see that, but I've just put a little bit of lithium grease there. Be careful not to put any lithium, I've been careful not to put any lithium grease on where the clamp marks are. You really don't want any grease there because the triple trees, the idea is they clamp the fork. You don't want it sliding. The last thing you want. So what I'll do is I'll also clean this up a little bit, just with a bit of alcohol, isoporic alcohol, just to get any grease off there. Yeah, so now I'll just slide these on. Be pretty easy. Don't know what sort of a fit we're going to get, you never know, but that looks pretty good. Yeah, so there guys, I'm just doing the other fork here. So what I'll do is just put a little bit of lithium grease on. Probably too much on there. Just rub it over the fork a bit. Yeah, so that's pretty good. Okay guys, what I've done is I've put a little bit of isoporic alcohol in there, and I've cleaned the top of the fork up to where the clamp mark is. What I'll also do is just, with a bit of alcohol on the cloth, just give them a bit of a wipe inside. Get any oil or grease or anything else that's there out of there. You want that as dry as possible. And what I do is I leave my key in there, so when I put this up, I've got to watch this boot so it doesn't slide up any of that lithium grease onto there. Is I'll get it. Yeah, that's already put a little bit of grease on there. See that? Slid up into that. So I'll clean that off. Up to the clamp mark. And try again. Just slide it up. Okay, here we go guys. Now with the reassembly of these forks, what I'll do is, this is the axle. Now so that these forks line up, what I'll do is I'll poke the axle through. Now obviously that's not going to go through because this fork's twisted. So what I'll do is I'll just carefully open this up and twist it back round, and then see if that goes in. Now that's pretty good. And I'll just tighten that up so this doesn't slide back down. Right. So that's the way I set the forks back up so they're dead straight. Now we'll just try this one. Yeah, that's very good. Just making sure these caps are near where they need to be. Okay, now I'll just tighten that up. So with your front wheel guys, always remember to have a look at the side walls to see which way the rotation is. There's an arrow pointing, it needs to be pointing forward, and that's your rotation. I've been caught out before. So just cleaning the discs off here guys, it's well worth doing. I've just got a little bit of isoporic alcohol on a rag, and you know, that's what can come off your disc brakes, so they're well worth giving them a clean. Yeah, so guys, just before the final talk, I just thought I'd check the fork caps to make sure that they're both the same. It's pretty good there. Yeah, they are spot on. I might look a bit pedantic with these calipers, but you know, you can do it by sight, but I like to be spot on. So that is spot on. Now I'm going to go ahead and torque those triple trees up. Just on the last one here, you hear the click. That's it. Just doing the brake calipers now. Final torque up. That's it. Okay, so I've torqued that axle up. Righto, so there it is guys, the high flow K&N air filter. Now that went on just like a normal stock filter goes on. They're an exact fit. K&N do it really good. So I'm really happy with that. That's going to be on the bike for the life of the bike. Love the K&Ns. So that's that. Yeah, so that's as far as I can go in this clip. In the next clip, we'll be setting up the light bar across the front there. All I've got to do here now is just put some zip ties on those boots and they'll be beautiful. So we'll see you in the next clip. And as you can see, I've added the light bar and I've added the LED insert, and believe me, it's made such an improvement. I can't believe how good it is, especially the light bar. It just lights up the road like nobody's business. As you can see, it makes the bike look totally different, but as I mentioned before, that's not my concern. I really needed some light. Yeah, so I've already been out and test rode it with the light, and I don't think I could do without it, to be honest. It's really, really good. So I'll just finish up the clip by showing you the products that I put on it and how I went about it. So here we are. This is the insert that I put into the headlight bucket. Now the brand name of this one is a Reassembling. Now it's basically a Chinese LED retrofit insert. As you can see, it looks pretty good, and it doesn't do a bad job. Like with the combined with the light bar, it's actually pretty good. Now on the road test, I did put it on high beam and I had nobody flashing their lights at me, so it's probably borderline. It's a lot better than the original, the stock Harley one. The stock Harley one, look, it is absolutely useless, as most people will tell you. I don't know how Harley get away with installing something like that. In fact, I heard somebody say that the reason it's so poor is what Harley did is they put a leprechaun in there with a candle. And that basically describes how good it is. Yeah, so it came off. Now, this one here was 80 bucks and it was no drama to fit. What you've got is a screw underneath that trim there. If you can see the little screw there, that trim comes off. Just remember to put something on your guard there, guys, if you're going to do that. The trim comes off and the original bucket just falls out. You unplug it, and this one here has got its own pigtail with a plug. Now what you'll find is it's a very, very tight fit. So you will probably find yourself playing around for a little while to get it in there. But once you find that sweet spot, it'll slide in and you put your trim back on, tighten it up, and away you go. Now what I've had to do with this one as well is I've had to adjust the light. Obviously it's different to the stock one, so the adjustment on the Dyna is under this little cap. You pull the cap off and there's a nut there and you can twist your bucket around, and it was quite easy to do actually, so it wasn't too much drama. So I'm pretty happy with that. Probably a more expensive one, I don't know whether it would have been any better. And what I like about this one is it's got a halo, and I'll take a couple of pictures of it. You can get the ones without the halo, just, you know, with the LEDs inside, high and low beam. But the halo, it is just nice and bright, and you can hook it up so you can have it as an auxiliary, a parking light. The wires are all there to do whatever you need to do, so that's a pretty good thing. Now the Stedi light bar, which is just a fantastic item. Look, as far as I'm concerned, Stedi, this company here, are absolutely leading the way with LED stuff. Now, they're an Australian company. They're at Hoppers Crossing in Victoria, and it's Australian made. Now, this is a mid-range priced LED light bar. It's not the cheapest and it's not the most expensive, but boy are they good. Like, they are just so good. Very well made, solid stuff. I'm absolutely wrapped. So this one that I've put on the Harley is an ST3K light bar. So what it's got, I'll just go back to it. It's got the two LEDs on either end are flood. You can see the different pattern inside the reflectors there, I think. And you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spots in the middle, which really throw it down the road. Really good item, that one. So that's been pretty good. Now, what I will say about it, probably the greatest thing about it, is it will only draw 2.1 amps, and that's pretty, you know, it's not a big draw for the light that you're getting. Compared to the spotlights that I was looking at, I was going to mount spotlights on each side, and they were 25 watters. Combined, they would have been drawing 3.2 amps. So that was the way to go. I thought the light bar was the way to go, and it's worked out well. The bike runs it easily. Now, how I've mounted them is another good thing about Stedi. You can get all the little accessories, the nuts, the bolts, the clamps. Now, the two vice clamps that you see on the bike, they also come from Stedi. That one was a range of 49 to 51. So what I did is I clamped them over the fork boot on the top there, and it's just given it a beautiful solid mount. Fantastic stuff. Nice and compact, and it fits the forks beautifully. And what I had to do with this one is I had to watch how much clearance there was between the guard and the top of the light bar, and there's plenty. This is a 5-inch travel, so there's well over 5 inches there. So that's worked out really good. And what I did with it is the relay and all the wiring has gone through the nacelle, under the console and under the seat. I've got a relay down there, and I simply switch it from this little plug, this little switch here, which isn't far from my high beam. I've only got to go like that. So it's really good. So I'll try and give you an idea of what it looks like. I'll try and get a picture of it with the lights on to give you an idea of what it looks like. And I am really happy with that. So if you have any questions or want to know stuff or anything, just send us some comments and I'll see if I can help you out by replying. So there you have it. Job done. Just before I sign off, guys, for those of you that have been watching the videos about the trip to Coober Pedy and Udnadatta on the V-Strom, on the Suzuki V-Strom, things aren't looking real good. As most of you in Australia would know, we've had another couple of lockdowns in Melbourne, and regional Victoria has been affected as well. What that means is the South Australian government have locked the border, and it's still locked. So I was only a week away from going on that trip, and if that border isn't open, well, we'll have to postpone it. That's just the way it is, COVID life. Yeah, so we'll see what happens there. We'll keep you up to date in any case. So thanks for watching, people. Please subscribe, like, and send in your comments, especially about anything you want to know about the bike. of what I've done in that case. And take care on the road. God bless, and see you next time.